Hello everyone, how are you? Today I'm here to talk about a controversial situation that many people ask me about on Instagram, which is the issue of plasma donation here in the United States. So for those who follow me, you know that I went to donate plasma and ended up giving up. Many people wanted to know why I gave up, so I'm going to record this video here. Let's start from the beginning to explain what plasma is. It's our blood. It's made up of four main components: red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, and plasma. So, here in the United States, it's very common to donate plasma and get paid. Very well paid, by the way. Plasma is the component that contains the proteins and nutrients that circulate in our blood. Who can donate plasma here in the United States? Unidos are residents, citizens and holders of green card and visas such as F1. Their companion F2 visas EB1 and B2 F2A and F2B are not available. I don't have a complete list here, but tourists cannot do so. So whoever is more interested should find out that generally, it is residents who have a temporary resident visa and citizens, of course, can donate. How does it work? The donation process. First, you register online. There are several companies that work with donations, right? And you will fill out this online registration with all your information. You will make an appointment online according to the availability you have in their calendar. When you get there, they will give you a small snack. But it is recommended that you have a light meal at least 2 hours before making this donation. You will take your passport with your visa. Those visas that I mentioned. Proof of residence where you live here in the United States, or the drive license, because the drive license already contains your residential address, which in this case is an American driver's license. Right, when you get there, you will present all these documents and you will have the blood drawn. There's a little prick in your finger to do the tests to check your blood pressure. After that, you'll have to answer a questionnaire. This questionnaire is very long. It's done a computer. It's only available in English or Spanish. You have to understand what's written there. Unfortunately, many people don't understand it and just accept the risks that are there. After filling out this questionnaire, you'll have a physical exam. The donation itself lasts about an hour. You'll be connected to the machine while lying down. It's a large gauge needle, larger than a blood donation. It's more or less what pulls your blood out. You press little ball to pump it so that a certain amount of plasma comes out. They have a quantity of 500 milliliters of plasma to remove. It's worth mentioning that here in the United States they remove 50 to 60 liters per year. A person can donate up to 104 times a year. The European protocol is only 15 liters per year. Right, which is interesting for you to research. Why? Because this business here is very strong, so let's go. What are the risks? Right? That's what everyone wants to know. First, the criteria for acceptance of donors are not available on the internet. If you can search in any way in English, Portuguese, even less, you won't find this questionnaire that you have to answer there. Even ask the doctor if I could take this questionnaire home or make a copy, but I couldn't. First, the questionnaire is done on the computer. When I saw the levels of the questions, of course I'm not fluent in English, I'm studying English, but I understood 90% of what was there. There were many technical terms, many terms for medicines that didn't know. So what I didn't know, wanted to look up. on the internet to check the translation. So that wasn't possible because there was a response time. While I was searching on the internet, the questionnaire would freeze and I couldn't access the question again. So I went to speak directly to the doctor. I went to answer the questionnaire directly with the doctor, and it was much better that way. Because she read it, I asked questions about each question. If I'm not mistaken, there were about 100 questions and statements. In the end, you always have to accept and say that you agree. You are aware of the risks that are there. That's the worst part. So each time things got worse, it got worse, right? I was ignoring it, accepted, then I went to the next one, accepted. Yes, then things got worse and worse. What could happen to you, right? So you don't have access to this list of these risk criteria, right? You only have access to it when you get there and you go through this stage, and most people answer on the computer and don't even know what they're answering, they just click the accept. So the first simple risks are vomiting, diarrhea, fainting, loss of consciousness, nausea, stomach intestinal problems, bacterial infections, because for those who don't know, plasma donation. Your blood comes out, as it is coming out, it goes through a machine. The plasma and blood will be removed. It is centrifuged, saline solution is added and it returns to your vein without the plasma, right? Of course, from the moment it returns to your vein, there is risk of bacteria entering, right? So bacterial infections are very serious and often silent. Various allergies such as anaphylaxis that can cause hives can cause blockage of the airways in respiratory problems in general, such as lung injury. Cardiovascular complications can cause overloading of the circulatory system, can cause inflammation in the body, making breathing difficult, and even patients, donors who have heart disease. Heart problems of various types, already existing, are even more likely to suffer complications with plasma donation? Which is the case with my husband, including thrombosis, embolism, venous problems, ruptured veins, because veins can leak. They can rupture, they can block, they can clot. Blood clotting can lead to death, right? So these are the most prominent risks, let's say, and of those that I memorized all that questionnaire that's there. Because it's really scary, really terrifying. A person who understands what's written there, who has the slightest knowledge, let's say medicine or knowledge, right? I'm a biologist, right? So I already understood a lot of things that were there. So I don't think anyone in their right mind, regardless of the money, right, would accept those terms, would accept taking those risks there. It doesn't mean to say that everyone who donates plasma is having problems. Of course, here there are a huge number of immigrants who donate every week for months. Plasma donations here are available all year round. It's not just because of the pandemic. But during the pandemic, the supply increased. The remuneration amount increased. A lot of people are in need. Well, it's a very big business. There are people here surviving only on the value of donations, the remuneration, right? From the plasma donation. But it turns out that many issues in the body are silent and you'll only find out later on. There are people who have problems and right from the first donation, it's already common to feel bad. You're already warned that you may feel bad. You may feel dizzy, nauseous, right for 24 hours, so much so that when you finish donating you still have to remain under observation there for 30 minutes and then you can leave if everything is okay. But things don't always happen the first time. Many things happen In the long term, including when I talked to the doctor, she told me that many people who donate frequently will reach a time when they will no longer be accepted as donors because their plasma is no longer useful, because it has already been removed many times, right? Of course the plasma renews, but that's not mathematics, right? It will happen there will come a time when the blood will be thin. It will no longer have the same quality. The plasma will no longer have the same quality of protein, of nutrients. If this is the case, we will only know later on, right? So I even make an analogy. For example, with this disease that we all know about, which is cancer. If you don't have annual checkup and you happen to have cancer, you will only find out when it has already advanced because it is a silent disease, right? But if you have annual checkup, you have the chance to find out earlier. So in this matter, many things can happen when donating plasma that are silent issues that will only come to light in the long term. I didn't want to pay to see, right? I prefer to preserve my health than to take risks. Once again, I say it doesn't mean that all of this will happen to the person who is donating. But they are risks. That person who goes there will sign saying that they are aware of the risks. So if something happens to you, they are not responsible, that is very clear. Because they take it out of the way, but what is the plasma for after all, right? Many people must ask. The albumin in plasma is often used to restore the blood volume of patients who have problems, as well as helping in the treatment of kidneys and infections. Hepatic A. There are also some hereditary anomalies or deficiencies that are treated with plasma. There is also the use of immunoglobulins, right, which contain plasma that are prepared as antibodies to protect patients from various infectious diseases, such as chickenpox, hepatitis B and tetanus. Intravenous immunoglobulin is also used to boost the immune system of people with various immune deficiencies. There are several treatments, right, hematological and neurological issues. But what is most popular is precisely the treatment of plasma for rejuvenation. Especially among celebrities, right, so plasma is being used a lot in this issue as well, and there is the issue of COVID, right? That there are people testing in plasma donors. The plasma from that donor who has already had COVID and recovered. So they are interested in these antibodies, right? So that's it, people. I made this video here because a lot of people were curious, right? And so with the video, I answer a lot of people at once, even those who want to search on YouTube about this issue, because if you research did several searches in English, in Portuguese there are even fewer. There are only people who donate when they receive. But nobody talks about this issue, and many people who are here who knew that I gave up and who are already donors also came to ask me why I gave up. So when I explained the issue of risks, not even they knew. They had been donating for months, they went through the same process as me and didn't know about the risk because they simply didn't understand. Just accepted the risks. You have to accept this here. Sign. And they don't know what they are signing, so fortunately the reality is this. So I hope you understood a little of my reasons. If you think this video might be interesting for someone else, leave a like, share, okay. Hug everyone, I hope you liked it, until the next video.